Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all the superstars around the world. My name is Frank Salas. I go by the name The Talented Mr. Salas, and I'm the founder of the Talent Tribe. Part of my service to the Talent Tribe is to bring you influencers from all over the world, and we've actually gone all the way to Norway to get my friend Tor wrestling, and he is going to show us how to get next to influencers in an authentic, legitimate way that's going to benefit your business and in a way that you're going to benefit that influencer's business as well. So without further ado, Tor, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm fine, man. I'm so stoked to be here.
Great, dude. Tell people a little bit about yourself. Like, what are you doing in Norway? What's the deal, with this influencer stuff? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, cool. So I used to work for one of the biggest companies in Norway, earning 6 figures. And then it came to a point where I got so fed up by kind of working my ass off and kind of fixing other people's problems. And I had been doing it for 2 decades. So I was thinking, hey, I've been hustling like crazy for other shareholders and kind of get them to increase their value of the company. Why not do the same for myself? So I decided to leave the job. And the thing was that I was going to start into the online space. And I've always been very passionate about marketing, but I didn't want to become one of those fake experts teaching people, oh, I will teach you how to get 10,000 email subscribers, but please don't ask me how many subscribers I got because it's just me and my mother. So I had to choose something that I was really good at, and it was productivity. So I started with a productivity blog, and then after about almost a year I had been doing it, I had been featured on about 100 top blogs. I had won a few awards, and I built an email list of 3,000 people organically. And influencers and peers that I knew, they kind of perceived me as a success online, but I felt like a total fraud. And why? Because I wasn't earning the money that I felt that I should, compared to all the hard work that I had put in. So I decided to do something really crazy. I was sitting there, and it was 3 days before I had kind of my first year in the online space, and I was just telling myself, like, hey man, you got to do something awesome now, and just like grow some balls and step it up, because you need to be able to provide for your family. So I decided to do something crazy, Frank. I decided to reposition my brand in 3 days. And I didn't know what it was going to be when I started thinking about it. And it's also very scary because people in the tribe and like everyone they're kind of used to you being like the productivity guy, the time management guy, and then I'm going to transition seven in a few days. I knew that I needed to do it. So long story short, I started to think about what kind of compliments have other people given me, like the influencers I know and the peers that I know. And it started to dawn that they were saying, hey, Tor, you know almost everybody. You're really good at connecting with influencers and all that kind of stuff. And I was just thinking, well, I guess I'm kind of good at it. So let's see if we can do this. And then I decided to reposition myself and narrow down my niche to help people to connect with influencers online, blogger outreach. I was going to become the blogger outreach go-to guy. And I reached out to a few of the influencers I know to see if I could get a testimonial from them on my blogger outreach skills. So I got testimonials from big names like Evan Carmichael, John Morrow, Yaro Starak, John Lee Dumas, and Jamie Masters. And I was just like, hey, that's pretty cool, but it still doesn't mean anything, because I need to show people that, hey, listen, I can teach you this skill, but you can also use this skill to earn more money in your business. If I couldn't make that type of bridge, the transition, it would just be kind of fluff and fairy dust, right? So I decided to do something crazy once more. I turned myself into a human guinea pig. And I was going to do an experiment. I was going to reach out to people online, which I did not know. And I was going to see if I can connect with them, start an engagement, jump on Skype, over deliver like crazy, and get them to pay me money. It was kind of scary, but I did it. And long story short, I was able to get people to pay me from $500 to $1,500 per month. And I built a coaching business from $0 to $3,000 per month in less than 3 months, but just working a few hours each week. And then I decided to do something else. I was basically, you know who Derek Halpern is from Social Triggers?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so Derek talks about before you create an online digital product, you should create a free product to see if there's a demand in the market. And I was just like, cool, I understand that, but there is no way I'm going to waste my time creating a free product if I don't know if this is something people want. So I created something I call the pre-free technique, which is basically that you create an opt-in form with a nice picture of your course and everything, and you just tell them, listen, I'm going to launch a course about topic A. It will teach you to do B. Limited spots, sign up now. That's it. And I was saying to myself, if I can get 100 people to sign up for this, then I'm going to create a free course. And I published a blog post, and those 100 spots got filled up within 8 hours. And I was just like, wow, this is something people want. Okay, then I need to create the stuff. So when it got on my email list, I basically asked them 2 questions. Number 1, what's your biggest struggle on this topic? And number 2, in which format do you want the course presented in? And you know what? They told me. So, and in my email number 2, I told them, listen, it's going to be impossible for me to teach you everything that I know about this topic in this free course, but I will promise you a great course, and I will over-deliver. However, at the end of this free course, you will get the opportunity to join my advanced course, where I will be teaching you everything I know about this topic. And since you are a charter member, you will get it for a discounted price. So people were like, oh, Tor, you're so cool, you're transparent, I like it, you're not like one of those sleazy marketers. And long story short, I built a highly targeted email list of 777 subscribers in 3.5 months. I launched it and basically pre-sold my course before I had created it. I knew what the course was going to be about, but I hadn't created anything. So I pre-sold it, got people to pay me first, then I created the course. And yeah, I generated $6,000 for the course before I started to create it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I like how you're breaking down the stats on something like that, because a lot of people are like, you know, we had a 6-figure launch, and, you know, that is possible in this business. But a 6,000 pre-launch of like literally nothing, just like, hey, I'm about to make this product, you know, do you want to get cut in on the best price? It's so cool. If not, there's a lot of demand here, and I'm going to go ahead that direction anyway. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for everything. And here's an opportunity for you to solve this problem, and you now like my teaching style. So it's a sample. It's a complimentary diamond. And if you want the diamond vault, you just got to go in there and swipe your credit card, you know? And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got a lot of value. Perfect. And people already have that know, like, and trust factor. So that's a brilliant strategy. So after you launch, what does that look like? Because, you know, there's going to be people who don't sign up, and then they're like, hey, Tor, can I get in on the list? Can I get in on that? You know, how do you handle that?
So the best way is that when you say there's a deadline, there has to be a deadline. If you say there's limited spots, there has to be limited spots. If you say there's going to be so in my case, I said I did several things. There was basically a deadline. I think it was 7 days. There was limited spots, and in addition, I was going to double the price the next time I launched. So you have kind of these 3 psychological factors, which are all 100% realistic. So now, I sold it then for $500. So now I'm going to sell it for twice the price, or at least $997, because I need to do that, because I promised my peeps that I was going to do that. So I need to do it the next time I launch it. And it sounds kind of weird, but with your tribe, you need to kind of help them to learn how you are basically, how you're treating them. So if you tell them, hey, I'm doing VIP coaching, only 2 spots. You need to only have 2 spots, not only pick 2 people. Because if you start by like, no, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, number one, it's unethically. Number two, it's bad karma. And number three, when people find out, and they will, you're going to be butchered like a pig on before Christmas Eve. Because that's basically how it is nowadays. It's all about how you really build a brand fast. It's all about transparency and all about focusing on helping other people. And if you can do that consistently, people will notice.
That they will. And whenever you do that same thing, but kind of reverse it towards maybe people that are like, you can only grow so big organically. Like you can grow to 1 million people if you like, but you get there a lot faster by collaborating, by doing blogger outreach like you've done. So somebody who's just getting started out, or who's an emerging entrepreneur, or maybe they felt like they've peaked and they're like, you know what, like you said, I'm gonna step up my business. A lot of people probably resonated. I'm going to rebrand and reposition myself and this and that. So if you were to give somebody some actionable advice on how to start doing that, because they're really interested in that, how would you guide them or point them in the right direction?
Sure. So just to clarify before I answer, do you want me to answer how to connect with influencers online or people online that they do not know? Or do you want me to talk a little bit about the repositioning part?
Let's start off with the repositioning first and then transition to how to connect.
Yeah, okay. So like my style, if you don't know it already, like I'm very straight shooter. I don't beat around the bush. There's no fluff or fairy dust, because basically that's not my style. And I really want to just give people the exact things that they need to do in order to get results, right? So now you know. So the thing is that most people out there, like so-called experts, they talk about all the things like the fluff and fairy dust, like, ooh, you need to find your passion. You need to build your business around your passion. So what this makes is that it results in a lot of people doing a lot of crazy stuff. So you might have like, I'm just throwing examples out there. You might have one guy thinking that he can start his passion about painting his PlayStation 4. You may have like a woman in the 50s thinking that she can start a business by like starting to smell butterflies and kind of creating a blog on how butterflies smells. Like, and that's just crazy stuff. That's not a business. It's a hobby. What you need to do when you're going to reposition your brand, or if you're going to go to market, you need to build your business around your strengths. It's the only thing that matters. Of course, it's important that you have passions. I'm not saying it's not important, but your business needs to be built around your strengths. That's number one. When you have found your strengths and you have narrowed it down, then you can find which of the list of these 10 or 5 different skill sets that I'm really good at doing, which of these 5 do I have the biggest passion to work with? And then you will kind of take and you will merge strength with passion. Because the thing is that when you go to market, or when you go into any market, you are competing with people who have been doing this for years. And normally they have a competitive advantage. So what most people do is like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I can learn anything, and it's going like, there are no problems, there are just obstacles. Yeah, it's true. But you really want to kind of pick a game where you actually have a chance to win, right? So that's what you want to do. You want, instead of what most people do, like here you have a scale of extremely awesome, and this is good, and this is just starting out. Most people, when they start their online businesses, oh, it's all about passion and all that kind of stuff. So everyone starts here, most people. Like, oh, I'm going to do something I don't know, but I will Google it, I will take a course, I will follow my passion because it's the only thing that matters. The other people are going to slaughter you alive because your competitors are either here or here. So they're in this segment. So what you want to do, you want to pick something that you're freaking good at, because then you automatically starts here. Boom. You start between here and here. So you're already in the same space with the amount of skills. That's what you are. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute total sense. And I love the way that you broke it down. And I want to zoom in on that very quickly for everybody in the Talent Tribe. When you stick to your strengths, that's going to put you closer to the money. And when you stick to the money, everything will work out. So focus on your RGA, your revenue generating activities, just like Tor was, saying, you know what, I'm going to get people, get close to them, over deliver, get them on a call, and, see if they would hire me for whatever type of value that I could further bring into their life. And that was his strengths. He stuck to those, and that's how he was able to focus a lot of his time towards something like that. So now that we've got our skills built up and we're already positioned, ready to come to the market, we can go out and we can do stuff like live stream and Periscope and Snapchat and do all the little gimmicky stuff organically. And that takes a lot of time. And there's a lot, that's a long-term thing, and that's great for your brand. But what's even faster and more successful is to connect with the people that are already in your space, just be cool with them and see how you can bring value to them and make their lives easier. Because at the end of the day, everyone's playing the same game, and anybody can make an effect on the game. Just make a positive effect for somebody further ahead of you, and they'll bring you up as fast as they can, because they're like, okay, I see this person making waves for me. Let me get this guy or this girl's swag up, and let me, plug away and let them do their own thing. So now my, circle of influences grows as well, and people like that. So chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, so what is it that you want me to talk about? Just how to connect with influencers or people online?
Yeah, what's the process? You're like, okay, I've identified the people that I want to connect with. I'm nervous as heck because who are these guys? Do they know me? Blah, blah, blah. And, what does that look like?
Sure. Also, okay, so it's really like my kind of process is that simple. Like when people are asking me like how to do this tour, people are like, oh, he probably has this huge chart on his wall, and then you need to do this and this and this and connect, and then at day number 15, then you're going to ask the influencer if he or she can share your tweet, and it's going to be so awesome. Like, I'm freaking crazy. That's just like stupid stuff. What you really want to do it's so simple that I want to tell people. They're like, oh, seriously, is it that simple? Yeah, it's simple, but that simple doesn't mean that it's easy. There's a huge difference there. There's two different things. But anyway, so it's simple. And it works like this. Number one, you want to find a way to stand out. So you need to find a way to provide value without asking or expecting anything in return. Let me repeat that, but it's very important. You need to find a way to provide value without asking or expecting anything in return. And then you provide value, and then you do it again. And guess what? And then you do it again. And people are like, oh, you're just providing value and not asking for anything in return? Yes. Because that's how you build good relationships, if you do it in an authentic and genuine way. This is really what you want to do. You don't want an influencer to just tweet your stuff. You want to connect because you really care. And you don't want to connect with people if you don't really care about them or genuinely care about the business. Like if you kind of look at influencers just like a person with a amount of Twitter followers that's going to share your stuff sometimes down the line in the future, it's not going to work, because they will feel like the creepiness around it. So you need to be yourself, and you need to connect in a genuine way. And when you do that, trust me, you're going to stand out so fast. Because even with me, and I wouldn't say I'm that big of an influencer yet. Like, people reach out to me, the way that people reach out to is so freaking stupid that I'm just normally just pulling their emails into my Gmail folder, which says bad outreach. And I will use them like in my courses and in my presentations in the future. Yeah, seriously. It's like so freaking stupid what people are doing. Like, and that's why I decided to kind of do something about the industry in general, like the online industry in general, that people need to understand that in order to connect with people online, you need to connect with people actually like you do in real life, if you know how to do that, though. Because it's not something magical about it, but like the moment people sit behind their Mac or their computer, they're kind of putting their almost like this hat on, the stupid hat, and they're like, oh, I will get him to share my tweet because he don't know me. Like, it's like so silly. Like, seriously, just like be real, be yourself, and treat people like people, and yeah, you will be amazed what will happen.
Man, solid advice. So you have a folder full of people with just bad outreaches. Like, give us some examples. This is the example of being savage, man. I love this, man.
Yeah, I have some examples. So, like, what I really think is kind of bad is that when people use email outreach software, but they haven't kind of specified or tailored the template, because you will see at once when you get these emails. So an example is that if you get an email and they say something like, they drop your link to your own domain 3 times in the email. It's just like, dude, I know my domain name. You don't need to kind of put it 3 times in the email. Like, that's just stupid. And number 2 is that, and this is just so silly. So my domain name a little while back were registered in my girlfriend's name. So they probably use some kind of tool to kind of crawl and find the databases of who used to own the domain name owners. And since my girlfriend's name is Sarah, the email was, "Dear Sarah, I love your stuff." And I went straight into the pitch. And I'm just like, seriously? And like, where on my website does it say that I'm a woman and my name is Sarah? Are you freaking kidding me? So yeah, it's just so silly.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you just put them in a little folder and they're just there for example purposes and they never get responded to. But so that's some of the bad stuff. What do some of the good ones look like? Like, give us an example of what that looks like.
Yeah, so I got to be honest, man. Like, people who have reached out to me, there are not many good examples at all, really. And so I think I'm just trying to think about an example of someone has reached out to me. Yeah, you had one guy that was kind of good. He was an influencer himself. So he basically was on my email list. And he just said like, "Hey, this email is like really awesome. You're kicking ass. And by the way, here's a little bit about me. I'm an influencer, ranked as an influencer in Forbes or whatever. And let me know if you want to connect." So, okay, so that's cool. That's cool because like he has done his job. He's positioning himself and kind of giving me a little bit of value why I might perhaps want to connect with him. So I think that's probably maybe the best one that I've got, but normally they're not good at all. And the best way to connect with someone is to give them value without asking for anything in return. And it needs to be easy for them to also accept what you're, for instance, offering to help them with.
Great stuff. One of my friends and fellow influencers, Calvin Wayman, who I've seen this guy come out of nowhere, just like in less than a year. He was watching Lewis Howes' Snapchat and saw that he likes smoothies. And he was at a conference with Lewis Howes, and he goes over and he's like, "Hey, I have a car. We're at a conference. You probably don't have a car. Do you want to get a smoothie?" And so then he jumps in a car with Lewis Howes and it's like, "Yo, I'm getting a smoothie with Lewis Howes." And he was cool about it, and just now he was really close with them and connecting with them. So it's all about, like you said, providing value, and it could be anything, and treating them like a human being. So great stuff, man. Great stuff. If somebody wanted to take that next step and really get to connect with you, where can they find you? Where can they find more about you?
A good question. So what they can do is they can either go to my website, timemanagementchef.com. I'm going to rebrand, but this is my domain name now, timemanagementchef.com. And I also got something awesome for your audience. It's my course, How to Blog Outreach Like a Boss, which is the best course out there, free course out there on how to connect with influencers online without them calling the cops. And you can find that at timemanagementchef.com/Frank.
Boom. I got you the free 99 hookup, but it's free anyways. It's free anyways.
Yep.
It's the best free course out there. And I'm definitely going to be going through it myself. And one of my classmates, I'm in a school right now in a group coaching session. Because you and I are both into the game. We're always learning. We're always surrounding ourselves from people. And she took your course, your free course, and she was like, oh, I saw you're going to have Tor on your podcast. And I told him that I took his free course, and it was just amazing. And she was like, yes, this is literally the best free course on blog outreach. And she just wanted to say that's, you know, that's Claire Kim from a Claire's Buzz Hive.
Oh, awesome. Like, it's so funny when I get these, because like, I don't think that it has so much impact, but like I'm starting to get more and more that people are, oh, your course is really great, and I got this and this result. I got to interview Kim Luna because of you. And I'm just like, seriously? That's awesome.
Nice. Nice. Hey, thank you so much for helping me serve the Talent Tribe. This is just invaluable information, and you were very easy to connect with. Just solid guy. You know, make sure you check him out. He's got a lot of information, and his flagship course is complimentary. I don't like the word free, Tor. I use the word complimentary because it does cost your time. It does cost the investment of your commitment and your energy and the execution. But if you can follow directions and just follow the path of success, success leaves clues, and Tor's giving you literally a blueprint. Just follow it.
Yep.